Hello, everybody. This is Bill from the SITREP Podcast. And if you look on your screens, we have a full plus house today. A couple of people who have been on MIA over the last few shows are back gracing us with their presence. If we call it grace, I doubt it.
Grace, she died 30 years ago.
The prayer.
And in the middle, we have Gaz, one of the OGs of the podcast from back in the day. Our painting guy. You know, he used to do painting with Gaz. You have his cup of tea and his paintbrush. And he was very British about it and all that stuff. He is visiting us from the good old country. And we're going to talk about what do you want for Christmas? And what's out there for Black Friday sales and much, much more. After this, in 3, 2, 1.
Big Duke 6 Eagle Thrust. Put on Sidewar off. Sing it loud. This is a Romeo Foxtrot. Shall we dance?
You are listening to the SITREP Podcast, your source for everything related to historical wargaming. Whether you are looking for the latest wargaming news, reviews, painting tutorials, or playthroughs, you will hear about it right here. So grab your favorite beverage or brush and let's hit it.
Yes, let's hit it.
All right, here we go. Chris, quit knocking your mic around. Lord. You think you've done this before. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where in the world you are. I guess I'll bring up the chat. Oh, James Johnson. Hello. How are you?
Good morning.
My evil twin is apparently in the chat.
Well, shall we say
That's the evil one?
we are leading into the busiest shopping day of the year, Black Friday here in the U.S., and I think even Europe has embraced Black Friday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about what's going on in the world and all that other stuff. But first, as tradition has it, we talk about what you've been doing in hobbying since the last show. And since we have a guest of honor, Gas,
Yeah.
what have you been up to?
Yeah, we only need a year's worth of information, sir.
You brought
so go
pictures,
ahead.
right? Yeah.
So I'm.
That's the rest of the show right there.
And in the beginning, there was light.
So since the Lagertha miniature you painted for us,
Actually, I've been having a bit of a layoff from the hobby for a little bit in some ways. In others, we're currently looking into getting. We've just picked up the 3rd edition of Bolt Action, so we're going to sit down, go through that, see what the changes are, and I believe there's some force selection changes. So we're going to look into that as well and see how that's going to affect the forces that we have and really get to grips with the new generation of that rule set. It was a solid generation before, so I'm interested to see what the changes are, how they've improved, if they've made any mistakes and it's gone backwards a little bit or not. But and in addition to that, we on the other side of the fence, we've been playing a lot of Marvel Champions, which is a card game based. Really found that to be very addictive. Lots of options and some really good games development, rules design, to the point where I would say for me personally, it is the best card game I've played. It's a really solid set.
Do you hear that, Don? Best
I-
card game.
Well, I might have.
We've
been,
already had a conversation about needing
I've
to go to the
I've already
game
been
store.
asking who the Marvel Champions that they would like to play.
Man has a plan.
So I sowed the seed maybe a month or two ago, and it's grown, and we're definitely going to be.
Dawn have to look at a
giving that a
card
run
game?
out.
Oh no.
It was
Whatever
such a
will
hard
I do?
fight. So yeah, busy with that, and something that I'll touch on later when we go into the sales stuff. But refreshing my hobby space to make it more ergonomic and sort of add that degree of motivation by changing up. So refreshing, essentially.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, let's just go around.
And you've got a year worth of grade of paint at the Lomax's.
This is very true. The corner,
Probably
the
more
corner
than
of
a
stuff
year,
that's like,
Chris.
there's a pile back there that somehow has my name on it. Which
Yeah. All
It
these
probably
pieces of
literally-
tape that say Gaz. I don't know why that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it probably literally has his name on it.
You have to start with the 75mm howitzer gun crew I sent up. Whenever I give away a miniature, I say a little prayer. I say, if you stay here, you'll be wasted. So I'm sending you somewhere where you won't be wasted. And I send
Sounds
it
good.
out.
Once I get through that pile and bring in the excavator, I will. I'll dig that one out
It's
first.
not that bad. It's pretty bad, but it's not that bad.
Give it time.
Killed Dozer.
Who next?
Dawn?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. Gee, what have I been up to?
I don't know.
Pretty much the usual. It's been Magic, Lorcana. So my latest set of Lorcana is Azurite C. Azurite C. I don't know how you say that. But I picked those up a week ago and the cards are awesome. I didn't get any enchanteds, which was a little bit of a bummer. Although after I saw them, I don't really like the treatment on them this time. So I feel a little bit better about that. I don't feel so gypped. But
So when you say you don't like the treatment, what does that mean? Because I don't play the game, so I don't know.
So you know how like in Magic or any of the other card games, like some of the cards you get are foils, or whatever. They'll do these different premium treatments to them. And the way they've been previously is the enchanteds are like foil plus. They have like this prismatic effect to them. Like they're
Super
very
fancy.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, the ones from this set, they're all done in this this gold treatment. Like the best I can describe is like they remind me of like Egyptian. I don't if that makes any sense.
No.
And it's I don't know. If I showed you them, I think you would go, I see where you're going there. And I don't know. They're not, the gold takes over the card, and so they don't look very colorful or anything to me. So it was like, well,
So they're washed out almost.
yeah,
With the gold overtaking
yeah,
the
it's like that's
colours.
supposed to make them special, but I don't love it. So that's okay. So I don't feel so gypped.
So Chris,
So your cards OD'd on Jägermeister.
Yes, apparently, or Goldschlager.
gross.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
So Chris,
Sir.
your walk like the Egyptian. I
Mhm.
just saw a video of Susanna Haas at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Here we go.
and she still has it.
She
I tell you,
she
you
might
wanna
be
know what I
60,
want
but
for
she's still
Christmas?
smoking. Yes.
You want to know what I want for Christmas? That right there.
Well, you can want all you want because they ain't happening. We know that.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me put a call into my people and see if Susanna's available.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Chris, you have better luck. You have better chances of winning the lotto versus getting Susanna Haas.
Well, like Lotto, I have to be playing first.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Well, in
All
your
right.
case, playing with a partner.
Here we
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. On that disappointing note, Chris, what you been up to?
Let's see. Since we last talked, helped a friend of ours with his Holy Havoc,
Yep. Steve.
and helped Steve and his family rose a lot of money.
A little over
Nice.
$7,000 for Hesed House, a
Nice.
homeless shelter here in Aurora, Illinois, where the town that I live in. No, I do not live in that place. It just looks like it back here.
Other than that, I've just been doing a little 3D printing. Have a lot of work going on. We're doing a lot of migrations to the cloud still. So, Mage Hand.
Perfect.
Wow.
Love it.
All right.
It's amazing you can take all of that when you sit down, to be honest.
Wow. Wow.
Ah,
Anyway.
From the brick.
Hold on, I got a fire extinguisher over here. Let me put that out for you.
It's a home colon checker.
Oh my gosh.
Gonna be a
Little
good day,
flush
Tanner.
there, buddy.
Anyway, Marty, what you
hold on a second. Hold on a second. Very well played. Very well.
Thank you, sir. Love you, Chris.
Yeah. Ouch.
All I can do is just
Take it.
He concedes. Yes.
Sometimes the jokes write themselves.
what are you saying? All I can do is submit. Yeah.
Marty.
So let's see. It's been a while since I've been on the show, and then it was a while before that was on the show, and that same damn project has been on my desk. 90 clan rats. Guess what I finished last night?
One?
90 clan rats.
Got all 90 done in one shot.
Finally done. Why on God's green earth I thought it was a good idea to batch paint 90 of these dudes at the same time. I cannot explain. My lesson has been learned. I am never doing that again. Not 90 of them at a time. Holy crap.
But
Well-
now you have 90 clan rats.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, now all I have to do is paint the rest of the 2 boxes they came out of. Whew. But kind of to Gaz's point, given the hobby space a refresh, now that I've got those dudes off my desk and I can actually see my desk again, I'm feeling good about it. I'm like, I should do that. I should organize some stuff, clean it up a little, and then get my projects in order, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lined up already. So
Okay.
when we get into what we want later, I want time.
Yeah.
I just need some damn time.
Yeah.
I've got enough. I don't need to add to the pile right now. Whew.
This hack
but,
will stop you from adding to the pile.
Yeah, and it won't. So I got those done. I helped Steve with Holy Havoc as well. That's a narrative Age of Sigmar tournament. It's very well attended, very popular. Had a good time. Got to see a bunch. We've been doing this for a few years, so everyone there's kind of a friend of ours now. We know a bunch of the guys that are regulars. Had a good time there. What else have I got done? That's about it. Oh, no, I talked about that last time. Yeah, that's about it. Like I said, I'm just prepping to. I keep looking over here because I literally have trays stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
Oh, for those of you that can't tell, I did get a new camera.
We can tell. And it
Believe me,
looks
we can
good.
tell.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll tell you what I hope to have to go with it when we get into our main topic.
Okay.
That's it. I am getting ready to start a project where I am going to 3D print a bunch of goblins that I got for free, because Uncle Adam and Vince Venturella's company, Snarling Badger, puts out an e-zine every year, and it came out last month or this month. I don't know. Came out recently, and it's $8. It's a little printable PDF. You can print it in booklet form, or you can just print it out as regular pages. But I printed it out in booklet form, and then stapled it up, folded it all nice and neat, and then I slid it to a couple of my coworkers. There's a game in there that is the Great Goblin Argle Bargle, I think they call it, where it's just goblins fighting and doing shenanigans. And I've already lured 2 of them into wanting to
Awesome.
play. So now I gotta get some miniatures for
Yeah.
it.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Yeah,
You know
so
what I hear there is 90 goblins.
for a skirmish game. It's not an
Okay.
army game. It's a skirmish game. Thank goodness. So I only need to do like 30 to get like two war bands or whatever set up. So shouldn't be too bad.
Well, that's cool.
I take it that's a
Printing and-
fantasy theme as well, Marty.
I'm
It's
sorry. What was that?
It's a fantasy theme.
Yeah, and it looks like it's just a fun beer and pretzels short skirmish game, kind of an entry level game, if you will, which is why I started luring some of my coworkers into it. We
you
also
don't
might
drink
happen to have
beer.
a pool table at work that we don't use, so I've got a large gaming space.
There you go.
So you put the bait out, you're just waiting to set the hook, is all you're saying.
Yep.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. And one of them's already got their teenage son. He's got a 13-year-old son. I think he's 13. And he's like, "Oh, this looks really cool." And I'm like,
Yeah.
You just affected somebody's wallet.
He's
Mhm.
punching the
considerably as
card.
well.
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can find some free goblins out there on that. I'll print some of these up for you.
There you go.
Hey,
Suckers.
Marty, I'll help you with that. I've got the loot.
Cool.
Yep. I've got a bunch of STLs already. I just got to print them.
Cool.
So
And speaking of expanding Age of Sigmar, we've been talking to Little Lomax.
that's true. Yeah. Bill, your brother has dipped his toe in. So Chris has a which box did he get?
Skaven Tide.
Yeah, so he got the Skaven Tide box, and he sent us a picture the other day of painted Skaven Tide hero, the dude on the giant rat guy. It's this dude, except his is painted.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
I told you I had a trade over here to paint. So we may be luring him into joining us for AOS.
Cool.
Drag him
Very
into
nice.
the Holy Hammers with us.
Very cool. Jim?
Remember when we used to do historicals? Remember when we used to do moderns?
Uh-huh.
Right. So last week we played. We went down to the Doss Creek House, home of South Florida Miniatures Gaming Club, and did a battle group game in 15mm. Plastic Soldier Company, Iron Fist Publishing, recreating part of the Hurtgen Forest for the 80th anniversary of that. A lot of people haven't heard of that battle. It's not terribly well known, sadly. But if you've ever watched the HBO TV movie When Trumpets Fade, it's not a perfect movie. It gets a couple historical things wrong, but it's got to be the best movie about this battle. Not really for the faint of heart, but if you're looking for some kind of quick, easy reference about this battle, that's the quickest way to do it without reading a bunch of books.
Is that Battle of the Bulge or
No,
just before Battle of
it's
the
right
Bulge?
before the Battle of the Bulge,
Yeah,
which is why it's not terribly well known. It actually starts in September, but the real guts of it take place in November. That's the part most people do remember. So we did that in November. Got good God, like 90 pieces of footage for that. Tried to cut it together into 2 videos. One of them is going up later tonight, so keep an eye out for that. And then part 2 will come out Sunday on Thanksgiving weekend, so the end of November is covered. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And then this past week we also did the Battle of Busha, 27 February 2022, in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. This was one of the infamous battles that took place right at the outset of the invasion. So the 27th of the 27th of February is like day 4 of that war. So this is where they had the big cement truck parked in the middle of the street as a roadblock with a bulldozer on one side, and the Russians, I almost said Soviets again. The Russians come charging down the street. They pass a Cold War war memorial with this little BRDM kind of sitting on this little piece of cement or whatever. Of course, the Russians thought it was an active vehicle, so they spent half their battalion's firepower like just lighting up this friggin' memorial. And the Ukrainians just kind of went around the sides with their RPGs and their Molotov cocktails, and that was the end of that action. Didn't quite happen that way on our tabletop. So I got the footage for that. We might wait a little while because we've been hitting Ukraine pretty hard. We've done Makari, we've done Skyven. Those were both 2-parters. So in Panzer Leader and in 7 Days to the River Rhine by Great Escape Games. That's 4 parts of Ukraine almost back to back. So we're going to lighten up a little bit on that. And we got 2 pieces of historical coming up. And other than that, we're just getting ready for our big trip over to the Ardennes in right about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're heading over there for the 80th anniversary. So we're going to Bastogne, Troy Pond. I'm probably getting all these pronunciations wrong. Stavelo, Saint-Vite. We're going to all the big sites over there. We'll probably also pass by Waterloo. So even though I'm not a huge fan of Napoleonics, what kind of military historian would I be if I just went right by the exit to Waterloo? It's right on the highway from Brussels down to
Since you're in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
So as what's going to happen is he's going to go to the battlefield of Waterloo, and it's going to envelop him. Either Wellington or Napoleon spirit is going to grab him. He'll come back on the show. He'll have his hand in his coat and his big old hat and say, "Vive la France!"
You guys know me. When the black powder bug bites me, I go straight to the American Revolution. So that's yeah. So those are the activities that have been underway lately and in the near future. So that's pretty much it for me.
Cool.
How about you, Bill?
I have done shit.
That's not true.
I know, but I like to say that. Well, I've done. Hello, Benny Johnson. It's brother Benny. Hey, there's a brother Lloyd. We have a brother Benny.
I know, right?
Yeah. See, we're special. Anyway,
special, right?
Truth in a big way. So I have done a video on the Wave 3 of Two Thin Coats, and I painted up that mini, the Badger Games mini.
Yep.
So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I had zero motivation to paint the thing. I didn't like it. I didn't like the mini. Nothing wrong with the mini. It was a nice mini. No, it did not speak to me. It did nothing for me. I had zero motivation to paint that thing. So I just painted it, just going through the numbers, and you can tell it's okay.
I enjoyed
it. It did pretty well on the channel.
I was gonna say,
thank you.
I enjoyed painting mine, and Badger Games actually on their. I haven't checked their Facebook page. Ought to have their painting contest up by now.
Yeah,
they'd released the first 3 photos, I think Monday earlier. So I don't know who won, or I'm looking forward to just seeing the gallery of how dudes painted it up.
Yeah, like I said, part of the thing is I kind of shoehorned myself. I said I would only use the paints out of Wave 3 to paint it, which for most part was okay, but there was a few things, color combination. I just wasn't feeling it. So but the video is doing okay. I think people wanted to know more about the paint range, the Two Thin Coats. I like them. My only complaint with Two Thin Coats paints is the mixing ball inside the bottle. When you invert it to, actually get some paint out of the bottle, the ball sticks in there and blocks.
Clogs the dropper.
Yeah. So that's my only complaint with that. So
I mean, I kind of see what you mean. I mean, when would you use that miniature in an actual wargaming table?
Yeah, I mean, it's
it's a fun display piece.
Yeah. And that's really all it is a display piece. I think
it just didn't speak to me.
Yeah.
Your medium has to speak to you. Unlike like my Bugman's from the Warhammer World at the Bugman's Cafe, that spoke to me because I could associate with something. This one, it again, I'm not bashing the mini. The mini's actually very good.
My miniatures talk to me all the time. Don't listen to what they're saying.
Do they talk dirty to you, though, is the question.
You go back up on the shelf there and just keep being sexy.
So after that, we did a review of the Halo Spartan Edition, right?
Yep.
And I painted up that. I don't know if you can see it, but
not really.
Master Chief. So there's Master Chief. It's a good mini. The edges are soft, so it doesn't dry brush well. But I mean, for a tabletop box game mini, it's not bad. So we did that, and I'm going to make a prediction right now. Yes. I'm doing my amazing Kriskin. Is that his name, Kriskin? Riskin? Who's the guy that predicts the future all the time? Anyway, Nostradamus too. But the reason I say that is because I just watched a video of the amazing. I think it's Kreskin was on a news show, and he was trying to tell this girl to pick a card, right?
Yes.
And he totally loses it on camera because she won't pick the right card. It's funny as hell. Anyway, next week is when the new Lord of the Rings set comes out.
Yeah.
Because Do you guys watch Sorp?
Yep.
Haven't in a
And-
while,
Yeah,
but
it's-
yeah.
And he's building Helm's Deep in 28mm scale right now.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I have to get this done for the next week's video because something special is happening. So, and at the end of it, he goes, I need more Rohan figures. Put it together. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, that and why would you not drop that set right
Yep.
before Christmas?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yep. So then on the historical side, to Gaz's point, we have 3rd edition Bolt Action 2. And my plan is to get it together so we can do a comparison to see what changes are between 2nd edition and 3rd edition. I have 2nd edition rules on PDF. We have it in our depository, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay.
In your
in there, yeah.
suppository?
Depository.
Repository.
Repository.
Yeah, that's
Chris
it.
has the suppository. You saw the big. That works.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'm still working on Captain Winter, so he kind of got put off the side to do these, videos, but yeah, we'll see. And yeah, so Jim's going to be gone here in a couple weeks. So for like next month's videos, we're probably going to do some
You're stuck with
historical
us.
stuff. Yeah, you're stuck with us. The kids are going to burn the house down. We're going to, drink all the alcohol and put it with water back, so when Papa Jim gets back,
I hope to
all that good stuff.
have some content at the end of the month, but yeah, I'll be gone until at least the middle of the month.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna get some stuff. We'll see. Other than that, anybody else have anything they forgot to mention? Dennis is here. All right.
In the housey house.
So guess it's that time.
Listen up, people. It is time for the news with Marty. What in the wide of world wargaming is going on? Let's in
Yeah.
on the scuttlebutt. Bring on the awesomeness that is wargaming.
Yes. All right. So, whole bunch of different stuff. This is just kind of a shotgun blast at things that are out there in the universe. So, first item up is from our friends at Enemy Spotted Studios. As you know, their latest game is called Blackout, and they just dropped an expansion called Impact for their latest game, or for Blackout, their latest game. It's got a bunch of new scenarios and lore, and is expanding their factions and whatnot. So if you are into it, this is something that will definitely flesh out that universe. And one of the things that I'm a member of their pack, their it's like a Patreon. I don't know. It's their little support club, and if you're a member of the pack and you are on that on that Discord channel, they mentioned yesterday or day before yesterday that they're expanding their production capabilities by offering their models in metal, UV, like 3D printed resin, and cast resin now. Huh.
Nice.
So you can get it, as well as they have STLs of many of theirs that you can get. So pick your poison on what it is that you want your models to be made out of. I thought that was kind of interesting, because with that type of production, that indicates that it's either it's a healthy company and it's growing, or they've jumped the shark and they are making their last gasp. And I don't think that's the case for these guys. So, I thought that was pretty interesting that they were able to offer all of their miniatures in these different materials.
Yeah.
They have beautiful models, and so the cast resin is probably going to look amazing.
Yeah, how about it? How about it? All right, moving on to the next item. This is probably the biggest hotness in tabletop kind of fantasy grim dark news, is the Trench Crusade Kickstarter. It's from a company called Factory Fortress. Hugely successful hugely successful Kickstarter
Wow.
campaign. They raised over $3.3 million from over 20,000 backers.
Yeah.
Way to go, Bill.
Woo! I mean, dear Lord. So it's tabletop war game. It's set in World War I era, but the lore takes it back to like Knights of the Templars and whatnot. It's made by a bunch of dudes that have a lot of good stuff in their portfolio. So Thomas Perninet, I can never say this guy's last name right. Anyway, of Mordheim and Warhammer 6th Edition fame, James Sheriff, he's had some games as well. Some really good talents in the wargaming industry worked on this. And
These look
essentially,
really cool.
yeah, I mean, they've got some
Amazing.
really kick-ass models. They say that they'll be produced in ABS-like resin using 3D printing. I'm pretty sure. My guess is maybe that's Seocast. They didn't say it was, but when I hear it phrased that way, that's what it makes me think of, which is cool. I mean, I've seen the Seocast machines at Adepticon, and they can crank out some good stuff. So the models themselves though are amazing if you're into that genre. Additionally, they are offering all of their models as STLs, so you can buy the STLs and print that stuff out yourself. The game is not, while it has all these factions and it has all of physical models and STLs, you don't have to use them either. Turns out they're all about let's play the game, to the point where the rules are free for available online.
Wow.
Cool.
So you can download the rules for free, and you can proxy in any miniatures you want. And if you've already got some that you believe are acceptable for a particular faction, you can get into this for like no dollars. Crazy, right?
That is pretty cool.
So there's a lot of folks that are very excited about this. It's kind of like I said, kind of a grimdark style game, 40K ish, if you will, and it's not 40K, and it's not Games Workshop's.
Yeah.
I think that had something to do with its popularity as well.
I like any kind of game that is miniature agnostic like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that was a really good move on their part. Like I said, lots of folks are excited about it. I mean, think of it as like one-page rules, Grimdark Future on steroids. I think that'll be widely popular.
Yeah.
You don't need 15 codexes that cost like $100 a piece to
100%.
you have to rebuy every couple years.
Yeah.
The other thing I like is they've done accessory sprues. So if you had a model that you wanted to use, but you wanted to use the right weapons so that people recognize them when they're playing on a regular basis, you can take the model you like, but apply the weapon that makes sense visually.
Yeah, and they kind of talk about that in the campaign. It says if you need to convert or kit bash your models, we want to say here and now, this is right off their webpage, we want to say here and now that custom miniatures will always be completely legitimate. Some minor stipulations like base size aside, we encourage creativity and on and off the tabletop, and we'll even be providing kits in the campaign to help you do just that. To your
How refreshing is that?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Base size is important for the mechanics. That handles movement, arcs of fire. So that I get.
I mean, but you can put whatever you want on that base. Obviously make it make sense. I think so you can tell what's what. But hey, you got a guy, and you're like, hey, I just need to slap a weapon, or I want to give him a little different vibe. So I'm gonna I don't know, put some armor panels on him or do a head swap or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, get after it.
My little 15 millimeter Axis and Allies miniatures, some of the infantry have been more nationalities than they are the most disloyal soldiers.
Really, it's kind of a mercenary band, but we don't talk about it.
Yeah, they're really a bunch of sorts.
It's like the French Foreign Legion, except different.
All
right, moving on. our good friends over at Spectre Miniatures have gotten into Mythos.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. I mean, I don't know. Gaz, I think you guys are way ahead of the power curve on this one.
I didn't realize our IP or the old IP license had run out for somebody to be able to use that name as a miniatures game. So that could be an interesting thing in the future. Another news article.
So I'm not sure if that. Oh no, that is the name of the game. Never mind.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So
Nope. It says Mythos core box for 56 pounds.
Yeah.
But as the name implies, it is the world of H.P. Lovecraft. 1930s America's weird Lovecraftian monsters and all that stuff that goes with it. Core box has the rules, and there's cultists and supernatural stuff and cosmic terrors and blah 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 blah. All the things that go with that genre. They've got a bunch of rules for sanity, insanity, strange effects, all the things that come with eldritch horrors. So if that's your jam and you're a Spectre fan, Spectre has some stuff for you.
I'm always surprised when Eldritch or Lovecraftian or any kind of cosmic horror does well on the tabletop. I mean, clearly it does. So clearly I'm missing something.
I mean,
but if you read the actual literature, it's always about what is unseen and what you can't see or understand. And then how are you going to visualize that on the tabletop? But I mean, clearly people do it. So
yeah, and so I've not read the books because, well, why read when you have audiobooks? So I've listened to, I think, all of them. Because that's something that I'll put on and just play in the background while I'm hobbying or doing something, some mindless task, so I can have something to kind of entertain my brain while I'm washing dishes or whatever.
all of what?
Lovecraft's works.
Wow, that's quite a library.
It is.
Shit.
It is. And it's not like I did it yesterday. I mean, this has been over the course of several years. But
then you know what I'm talking about more than I do.
But to your point, yeah, very much. A lot of it is the unknown and what we're guessing at, what we think is going on, and then you find out or don't. But oftentimes you'll find out that it was not what you're thinking on. It's way weirder. Or you never actually find out.
You never find out. It's by definition unknowable. Yeah. That's the whole point of Jonathan Carter.
Because you'll see some of the signs and symptoms of what's going on, but never the whole picture.
Right.
I think a lot of the Lovecraftian items have been given physical form through the RPG space. Companies like Chaosium, they took what was a almost cryptic description, if any description, from a H.P. Lovecraft novel or piece or writing or one of his letters, and then gave it form, and that's become what people now assume is the visualization.
Yeah.
A lot of times Lovecraft uses a lot of shortcuts. He'll be like, it was unknowable, it was impossible geometries, and he went insane looking at it, and that's literally all you get.
Yeah.
So I think the RPG scene has actually built the lore further than the original texts.
Yeah.
And that's kind of become the norm. If I say to Mark, what is this creature? He'll go, it looks like this, it's shaped like this. So it's formed the myths and legends in the same way. Stuff like Vaesen takes our traditional laws for our countries, be it Nordic, UK, and makes those things real.
Yeah.
And that becomes standardized almost.
Yeah, especially if if it gains popularity and it's kind of widespread, then everybody wants to collectively kind of put it in a box oftentimes, so that way they can get their head around it and be like, okay, this is this, and that's not at all how Lovecraft works.
Not to be that guy, but that kind of defeats the point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this is what makes it accessible and gets people into it, which is always awesome.
Yeah. All right, Marty.
I just think I need a 3-foot tall Cthulhu, just because, and that'll be my 28 mil Cthulhu.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Just a quick blurb about Warlords Vanguard. I know that we've already talked about this on the page, but they ended up with over 1,300 backers pledging over 140,000 pounds. So the campaign closed yesterday.
Yeah.
If that was something you were interested in, you're going to have to wait for it to, if you haven't already ordered, you're going to have to wait for it to hit your friendly local game store. I don't know if they're going to do, what do they call it, a late pledge manager or whatever. But I thought I'd just mention that that it was closed and that it did pretty well. I mean,
Backer number 100 something.
shocker.
All in. All in.
Also
I'd have to paint anything on that one.
That's my
No,
shock
no,
face
no.
right here. Oh, he went all in. Don's like, yes, and I'm going to go buy a whole new range of Magic cards. Show you.
Right? All right. Moving along.
So here's an interesting little blurb. I'm not at all a 40K guy,
Uh-huh.
but Napoleon Dynamite is yes, the guy that John Heder, who actually played Napoleon Dynamite, is doing a documentary, and really it's more about the grimdark aesthetic than it is the game itself. So he's really leaning into John Blanche, and it is scheduled to be released in spring of 2025. He said he was inspired while looking for a gift for his kid. Got introduced to the world of grimdark, and he's like, "Huh, this is kind of cool." And then kind of went down that rabbit hole, and for some reason filmed it as a documentary. It's 100 minutes long, so it's a legit piece. And you can actually pre-order it right now for $12. So
Interesting fact or sidebar on this is that John Blanche is the one that Army Painter is doing their masterclass series with.
That's right. New paint sets. Two
Yeah.
new paint sets from him.
So they're going to be doing a masterclass with him, I believe in January it comes out. So
nice.
yeah.
Just in time for the movie to come out. Wait a minute.
Mhm.
Hey. All right. Moving along. Just a quick hit. I don't think you want to throw this one up on the screen.
Hold
I just thought.
There we go.
Yes. Emil Squidmar there. Well, turns out the U.S. is U.S.ing. He has a line of brushes that have been very successful. He said it's about 55% of his merchandise business is his brush sales.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got. I don't have any of these brushes, so I can't truly speak to it. But he thinks that they're high quality Kolinsky Sable brushes, and they do appear to be that. I'll take them at face value. However, apparently, some dudes in India have been trying to import mongoose fur and calling it Kolinsky Sable because mongoose is restricted for import. Kolinsky Sable not. But once you start labeling mongooses as Kolinsky Sable, now it turns out U.S. Customs wants to look at every single one of them, and you have to do some crazy import form, and you have to pay for it, and it's per order, each separate seller. So, yeah, he's not selling Kolinsky Sable brushes to the U.S. anymore until he gets it sorted out. Like,
right.
He might be able to partner with somebody in the U.S. and send a Connex box of I don't know 20,000 units over to the U.S. So that way it's one form, one fee, and then they get distributed from there. But he doesn't currently have that set up. I know he said that he's working on some stuff. One probably is a distribution network, but it didn't sound like he had a ton of hope on how that was going to go. But I think he's also working on a comparable set of synthetic brushes. So that will be interesting to see if he can get a synthetic brush to act like a Kolinsky brush.
Right.
If he cracks that code, he's going to do good.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting. If you want more details, obviously, go to Squidmar's page, and he breaks it all down. I just thought that that was it was interesting that the U.S. Has once again made business harder, not easier. Although I get the point that it's not because of him or his product necessarily, but because other people were trying to import stuff that they couldn't. So now everybody is paying the price.
Right. All right. I think that does it for the news. Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough, right?
I think so. That was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, you did have like 5 months to cover, so.
Yeah, kind of like your painting.
Well, I've got a lot more than 5 months of painting to do.
All right. We're going
All
to
right.
transition. If you didn't notice, Dawn and I are wearing Christmas. I have my Nakatomi Plaza Christmas Party 1988 sweatshirt on.
Very nice. Very nice.
And Dawn has her ugly sweater from Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
So, because as we said in the lead-in, coming this Friday is the largest shopping day in the United States, and it has spilled over to other parts of the world. So we thought we'd talk about Black Friday, what's on your Christmas list, all that good fun stuff. Who would like to go first? Anybody? Anyone? Dawn, go.
Really?
Yeah.
It's always me. All right. Well,
Ladies first.
in a shocking surprise to no one, I have a couple nonsensical things that are on my list. First of all, being they finally have created a Harry Potter Monopoly, so that one I will be acquiring if it's not given. And then
I like the look.
hint.
She just look. We're at a
I'll
point in
just
our
buy
life
it. I'll
that
just get
we
it.
just buy our own presents.
Yeah, pretty much.
Good call. Good call.
But there's also a new version of a game called Horrified, and it's Horrified World of Monsters, and it's classic Universal monsters, but it is such a fun beer and pretzels game. Joe got a copy of it ages ago, and we really liked it and have played the heck out of it, and they've since had a couple different versions. And so they just released this new version of that. So I think I want to get that so we have a copy.
Mm-hmm.
So is
of that.
Horrified a board game?
It is a board game, yes. And it's very cool because you randomize the monsters that you're playing against, and so each game is different. It has a
Replayability. Yep.
and it's not hard to play at all. Like people that have never played it before, you can sit down and pretty easily explain what you're going to do in the game and go. By the second turn, you have a good handle on what you're doing. So, yeah, Marty's
Like,
Horrified. Yes.
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I want to continue getting some stuff to further organize my addiction, my cards. So
Rocker.
I know. Yeah, I'm looking for some storage solutions for that. That's really
Connexes.
on my radar right now.
Do you see anything out there for people to be looking out for, like a big sale? Anything that can't grab your attention?
I mean, honestly, and I hate to throw everybody towards Amazon. Amazon's Black Friday deals right now for some board games. They have like a really nice pocket of what I would call more the beer and pretzel type board games that are really good deals. That I've noticed for sure. But yeah, that's really all I have.
Yes.
I like how he covered his mouth and
Yeah.
then looked at me out
Yes.
the corner of his eye before he dropped me. Sales. So Christmas coming. I've recently started to sort of, like we said before, refresh my hobby space. I had to clear out of all my paints. I donated them to one of the local event clubs and purchased in the Army Painter Fanatic War Paints. I didn't get all of them. I looked through what I wanted, and they work in triads. So very nice system of being able to transition from color to color. So I got in sets of 6 for that particular triad, has 2 halves to it, and others are triplicate. In addition to that, hobby space is a premium, especially in the UK, where a lot of houses have not got large rooms. So I purchased a IKEA pegboard because now you can find STL files for holding paint that go into the pegboard and cater to Vallejo, Army painter bottles, GWs, etc. Tamiya, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So to try and lift what I had on my table, which was in the nail polish tiered clear acrylic set, at a 5-step, it was literally taking up half the desk though. So
Yeah,
it was pushing me off the desk. So I've transitioned to this, which bolts onto the back of my table. It's just a pegboard. You get them in a couple of different sizes, and I'll print off. I just need to source the right resin to be a bit harder, a bit more useful for actually being robust and holding weight, which I've been doing. In fact, was doing in the airport yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to have this one. Because again, the resin side of 3D printing is growing all the time. We're seeing RPG resins now that allowed you to flex the model and it springs back to its original position. We're seeing hardened engineering materials, which is going to be good for this, for example, as well as the ABS-like pluses that do high definition, high detail. On top of that, I have made do with a 20-pound chair that is a metal frame, plastic back with a thin pad and a cushion on it for a very long time. So I'll be up the Secret Labs over this period. They've got a little bit of a discount for the Black Friday. I think it varies per chair, but maybe 40, 50 pounds. And ordering one of them
Nice.
over the next week.
Gaz, I feel so called out right now. You have just described my chair.
Brothers from another mother. What can I say?
Literally, it's a cheap office chair. I don't even know where we got this thing from. I have a abandoned kitchen chair cushion on it.
Yep.
And like this little pillow as lumbar support.
Yeah, exactly the same. And I've been at it for a long time now, and I was thinking this year I want to do more hobby. And we talk about what gets in the way of you doing hobby. Being comfortable is one. Being ergonomic in the space, having the space. They're all barriers to us sitting down and doing stuff. And I'm going to take a few of those away.
Especially as some of us get older and have abused of broken bodies. Ergonomics counts.
Well, I say I'm not going to lie. The metal framework of the chair has stood the test of a very long, safe working load check. So I think it's time to transition to something that has a spring involved rather than just a piece of plastic holding it together.
Yeah.
But no, it's really good. The Black Friday sales this year, they vary obviously by company. It's difficult sometimes to tell if it's a discount or they just marked it up before the time and then suddenly it looks like a discount. So you kind of have to keep an eye on things. The other one I won't get a discount on, but I will be looking to pick up is I hate repeat scopes, more so for skirmish games, which have maybe 10 or 12 models. But one thing that's put me off sometimes the bolt action range was a high number of infantry models with a number of exact repeats. And when I say exact, I don't necessarily mean, I've put an SMG on this one and a rifle on this one, but more the physical poses were locked into, say, five different variations, 8 different variations, depending on the pack. So I've been looking for a very long time for a solid World War II STL company. And I think I've found one now, and they do 2 forces at the minute that I really like. And one's the Royal Marine Commandos, or what was the Commandos in World War II. But they have the relevant headdress for being the Commandos, and the Canadian Army. So it's just a case of settling on which of the 2 I prefer, which will be after I see the new Army book to see what the force selection, what criteria there is, and what equipment relates to. The Canadian Army has quite a wide range, whereas the Commandos have a very small range. You know, we're not seeing any artillery pieces, no armor with the Commandos, but with the Canadian Army, and looking at the actual uniforms, because they're allies, they've got very similar uniforms anyway to British and other allied forces. But yeah, that's definitely going to be on my wish list for this weekend.
A lot of people tend to underestimate how big of a footprint the Canadians had in World War II, especially near the end. A full half of the so-called British Army in 21st Army Group. The 21st Army Group under Montgomery was only 2 armies, 2nd British Army and 2nd Canadian Army. So a full 50% of that formation is Canadian.
Yeah.
and Cinderella soldiers, as they used to call them. And it got to the point where, it's the famous saying is, Montgomery was a good general. He was never afraid to fight to the last Canadian. He loved feeding them into the meat grinder. So all those battles along the Scheldt Estuary, all the channel ports. If you build a Canadian armor, you can definitely get some pretty heavy historical use out of it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think they're probably quite underrepresented in Europe from the gaming side of things, from the hobbyists. So it'd be nice to have an army that people don't necessarily see, because we see very strong, obviously, if you're British, American, German, French, Italian, we see a lot of the mainstream.
Yeah.
And we see less. So even, I would say to a degree, we even see a lot of Australian and other regions that would be Commonwealth, but we don't often see the Canadian.
Australians are often overrepresented. I mean, it feels like 50% of anything published for Vietnam is somehow Anzac, when they never got over 5,000 troops in the theater out of 500,000 Allied troops.
Yeah.
And I think because of where some of the companies are located, the Anzacs tend to get a pretty big representation. But nothing wrong with that, but sometimes it's a little distorted.
Yeah, and I'm all about aesthetics. If I don't like the model, I don't want to feel the force.
Yeah.
So the fact that I like both these sets allows me to look at them independently of each other and decide, well, the commandos are a small time sink, because essentially I'll have universal carriers, I'll be running infantry with different support of sniper teams, etc. But the option range is very small. They're not going to be regular troops, therefore their points cost is high, so that reduces the amount of models I need to field, and they're robust. But on the flip side of it, if I want something that's diverse and looks better as an army on the table, especially when you've got it on your tray carrying it across, and you look down and you've got an heavy artillery piece, you've got armored vehicle support, you've got a variety of infantry types. It's just going to come down to sitting down, looking at the two ranges and going, you know what? I want both.
Yeah.
So, and then decide which one I want to do first.
Yeah.
Canadians had one of what would probably we recognize today as a true APC. I mean, APCs in World War II were half tracks.
Right.
They even called it that. But I think they called it the Kangaroo.
Yes, that's
which
right.
was, the Sherman tank without a turret, and then they made that into an APC. I mean, it actually had some armor on it. I mean, it was still a Sherman, but compared to a Purple Hardbox, I mean, come on.
And it will again, it's almost educational in a way that the amount of there's so little representation that when you see that on the tabletop, and I've never seen that before. I didn't know they did that with a Sherman chassis. So it's nice then again to trigger people to look a bit more into the history.
Yep. So before we move on, so Dennis is doing NOM 68 Tour Duty. Is that the new rule set that came out from
Is that Rubicon?
Plastic Soldier Company?
Plastic Soldier Company?
Yeah.
I think so.
And then there's Tough Ears.
Yes.
What is this noobs shit?
Are you mocking me and Gaz for our chairs? Is that what that's about?
And I forgot about your mug. I totally forgot. My bad. I owe Dennis a mug and I owe you a mug. So
Am I taking a mug back to you?
Yeah, you have to post it for me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
After I keep it until I post
We'll make your own mug.
Yeah.
We have the technology. All right. Jim, what do you want for Christmas? Have you been a good boy this year?
I've been a very bad boy this year, as always.
Whoa, Jen. Whoa.
Hey, save it for the OnlyFans there, Hero. Don't give it away for free.
Enough. Yeah.
Cool. Which is why I've gotten a lot of my Christmas presents early. So getting ready for the trip, we have been buying a bunch of books, tour of the Bulge battlefields. We're getting ready for that. And of course, you got to get some Ospreys. Now, there are better books than these Ospreys. I mean, nothing wrong with Osprey books, but they tend to be very kind of surface level. They don't get that detailed, and of course, they're not very in depth. But they fit nicely in a suitcase or in a. Some of the other books that have been suggested to me on Facebook and some other communities, the communities really come through for me on that. I take a look at the book, and I'm like, that's a great book. I wouldn't mind buying that, but I'm not hauling that across the Atlantic. God, the plane won't be able to lift off.
Yeah.
The plane won't be able to lift off the runway. We got our roadmap ready to go. I'm not sure.
Wait a minute. What is that you're holding in your hand?
The roadmap.
A what?
Remember we used to have roadmaps? So
our young viewers may not know what you're talking of.
Well, we were just all called
thing
news.
on how to use those.
I was gonna say you just gotta unfold it and then refold it That's
Oh.
the challenge.
I'm really good at that. That's a skill I never lost. I got a neat Lego set. It's not terribly historically accurate, but I'll be building this pretty soon. It comes with
Cool.
a Tiger and a Sherman. And last but not least,
Is that full on Lego?
no, it's not the Lego brand. It's I don't know what the hell the brand is,
Lego-esque?
but it's a Lego type. Where the hell is the brand name on this? I don't even know. War Beast is the only thing I see on there.
Made by
I don't know.
Squigmar.
Good enough. for
Apparently, it's
Google.
no longer imported into the US.
Let me show it where it doesn't have a bunch of glare on it. And then, so far, my favorite to be sure. I know this looks like it's just a
What?
little box.
That looks strangely familiar.
No.
What
is
is
the
it?
Bookcase.
Oh.
1971. This box is older than I am. 1971. You open it up real quick, and it's got like this was not in the typical box that you find.
Right.
It's right on the box.
Yeah.
It's got the old blue back on the boards. That's another way you can tell how old it is.
Yep.
And it's in really good shape. It comes with the storage tray, and this is like most people aren't going to care about this, but for those, this is one of those if you know you know kind of things. The German counters have the black backings, and the Soviet counters have the red backings.
Oh.
This is
Super collector's
extremely well. It's the same as any other kit. It doesn't come with anything extra, but it's just very old. It's very collectible. It's the original set from 1971. They're very, very rare nowadays. I was able to pick this up at a very, very insanely low price, to be honest with you. And yeah, an awesome little collection. This will probably never get played, to be honest. This will just be like kept on the shelf, almost as like a museum piece.
Yeah.
Definitely old school. Like I said, it's a piece of cardboard that's older than I am. So the fact that it's in this good a condition, this was in somebody's storage unit for like 2 generations and almost
Wow.
never got touched.
Isn't that something?
Hey Jim, one question. In that
Yep.
box, is there the card for play by mail?
The card, I think, like the little address thing.
Yeah, the little thing where you could play by mail.
I don't think so. But I remember it used to play by mail, and your dice used to be numbers in the stock market.
Yeah.
So it's got the original rules. It's got the campaign booklet, and it's got all of the scenario cards. In fact,
That's
I had
cool.
one extra scenario card in there. But yeah, I do know what you're talking about. That was
Back
almost
in the
like-
day, before the internet, people used to play against other people in other cities around the world by mail.
mail, like lick a stamp mail.
Yeah.
One turn would take you like half the summer. And yeah, of course you couldn't roll dice, so yeah, you would like, all right, we're gonna follow this company in the New York Stock Exchange,
That's
and you would
pretty-
look at like the last digit. That way it was more randomized, like the last digit in the stock price. That was your result on a given date, and you would actually try to resolve the game that way. And good God Almighty, that was a very laborious process.
Especially if you didn't have the internet to look up the price on that date.
You had to go out and buy remember these
Newspaper.
newspapers.
Yeah.
See, this is what I like coming on the
Blackberry
show. I feel
and
so much younger by the time I leave.
What? Shut up. Chris,
Yes.
what about you?
Well, we've been playing a lot of tabletop RPGs,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been dipping our paws into different games. We've played Mothership, Call of Cthulhu, and we've got a new campaign started up with Stars Without Number. So it's a sci-fi RPG. So for Christmas, Santa got me the manual for that. It's free. You can get the free version, the free PDF. But I like having the rule book. And yeah, no, that's about it.
Cool. Cool.
I've got a lot
Any-
of expenses coming up next year, and so I have to be good.
Uh-huh. Anything you see Black Friday wise that you want to share?
I am trying to not look.
Resisting temptation. Yes.
That's probably the best technique for you, Chris.
It is.
Good call. Good call. Stay strong.
Because it's only like one button, buy now.
Right.
When you slide it over, it's.
There's also a wish list there, Chris, for later. Not that you might have even seen it, but sometimes.
I've seen it. Mine's up to like 1.2 million.
I was gonna say it's the GDP of any small country.
Small.
Yeah.
All right, Marty.
So, as I was saying earlier, I've got a ton of stuff. I got a ton of projects ready to go. So, I'm not really looking to get a whole lot. What I do need, as we all know, is a new laptop.
Yeah.
So Santa, Donna, that's my lovely bride. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod. It is in my wish list, Gaz.
Good.
Hook a brother up, will you? Because this thing is not going to make it much longer, I don't think. So that's probably the big thing for Christmas. And then it's just I gotta figure out some organization in my hobby space as well, because I've got so much stuff now that I've kind of like over the past couple of years, I'm like, oh, I need some more space. I'll put this here. I need some more space. I'll put this here. And I've got all of these solutions, if you will, but none of them are cohesive, if that makes sense. It's just like I'm stacking stuff on top of each other and piling things. I'm like, I gotta get my crap together over here.
I need this board back here is covering a giant warehouse of cardboard boxes that are just embarrassing to show on camera. So.
I mean, like I have I have 3 paint racks that are completely full. I have another drawer of just like contrast paints and whatnot that's completely full. So I'm like, I gotta lay off the paint because I have no place left to put it. I literally have.
You're welcome.
A half dozen of them over there that are just sitting on my desk because I don't have a dedicated space to put them anymore. So there's that. As well as just I've got a ton of supplies for making boards and basing and and I have 1.5 boards in progress. I mean, I've got a 2x2 that I'm working on. I've got a Death Ray Designs Shantytown that is an MDF kit that I assembled, and they have a very nice kit. However, I wanted my Shantytown to be shantier, so I'm currently covering all of those buildings in corrugated cardboard, which will then be painted to look like corrugated tin.
That's super easy, and it's
just mind-numbingly boring and laborious. So I've got the 2 big buildings done. I've got 2 more to do, I think. So
you gotta peel the cardboard apart just right, so you wind it with just the corrugation. Then after that, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
I mean, for the stuff I do, I just spray it like a dark gray, and then when it dries, I just dry brush it orange to give it a rusty look, and that's, I mean, at least at 15 mil. I don't know.
It will paint super fast. The problem is I have to. So I'm cutting out all the crazy little shapes, like it's patched up together and whatnot. And the further I go along, the bigger those pieces get. I'm just getting tired of working on it. Like I just want to play with my little guys in here. Let's go. But that's probably the biggest thing for me is just getting some cohesive, dedicated organization in my hobby room.
There you go.
Sounds like a good goal.
Yeah.
All right, Bill.
Actually, I have one alibi. Sorry.
Yep.
New Holland Brewing has come out with a anniversary edition of Dragon's Milk. That ties into the whole D&D.
That's right. That's right.
Genre. It's called D20, and it is 20 ABV.
Cool.
So you're only gonna need one of those. Because
2, because you drink with friends.
Yeah, well,
Well, do you have any?
Not yet.
Okay.
It just got dropped on the 16th.
No, Friends, Chris, not the beer.
Oh.
Friends.
Damn.
Wow.
God.
Ah.
You know, you get some of that. You can probably find Friends though.
Free samples.
That was for the day.
Yeah.
That was for the day.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah, your turn.
Yeah.
Let me get my list.
Oh,
No, I
oh.
don't have the list. Well, I need a new painting table. I have
Yeah, you
outgrown
do.
my little space, so I got to get a bigger table. And I'm going to set up a gantry system for a camera so I can have a better view for when I do painting videos. Because I find it's not fun to do a painting video when things just don't look right and I can't see and it looks like shit and I don't enjoy it. You know, painting is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be my relaxation, and so far it really hasn't when I'm trying to do it under camera. So, you know, because I really want to be able to sit down and do Captain Winters and work on that. And then I definitely have to get more WoFun guys so we can do battles and Napoleonics, because I still have 28 millimeter Napoleonics sitting over there. I painted up one company and I still have many more to go.
That'll get you a war.
Yeah, right. So it's a pain in the arse. Those I'm going to just use contrast paints and paint them through. There's just so many of them, you know. At least the WoFun guys, you know, you can put them on a base. You can even fancy the base if you want. But so I can do some more. I have found that I play less and I paint less because I just look at it and go, fuck, I don't want to do this. It's become more work than anything. So
That's how I felt about my Clan Rat project. It was just,
yeah.
I done messed up and overwhelmed myself with it. But once it's on the table, the only way, you know, I made a promise to myself. The only way it was coming off the table is if it was done.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't get done. And you know, it took me 3 months, but
yeah. Other than that, I mean, I have the brushes I want. You know, I got all of the Artist Opus brushes, and I got obviously now all 3 waves of too thin coats. I have most of the Pro Acryl paints. I still have a couple more expansion packs to get, and I'll be fine with that. And thankfully, most of the colors in the Pro Acryl range are colors I will actually use. Unlike, you guys remember the big wall of paint I had at the old house? You know, a lot of it was Army Painter stuff because I bought the mega set. I never even touch those colors, you know, so there's just some colors you never touch. But part of that is looking forward to Rohan release, and then, you know, and then going from there, and then trying to do a little bit more 3D printing for some terrain, because I still want to get my 3 millimeter tanks on the table. I have all those 3 mil tanks. I have to sort through them and identify the right ones, so I can make sure I get like the right, you know, M1 company and or troop, you know, and the right T whatever model for the Soviets, so we can do some little battles on the table. I've come to the conclusion that I buy a lot of shit and I never do anything with it, and it just sits there.
No.
Yes.
I mean, it's a good thing that's not at all the case with me.
So it'd be nice to actually be able to play a game versus just let it sit on a shelf or, you know, whatever. So,
Oh, hey, speaking of games.
yes.
So I did, I should mention this, I guess, maybe at the beginning when we went around the horn. I did pick up a new rule set
Yeah.
called Haywire. So it is a modern skirmish game. Got it. If you're familiar with a guy that goes by the name of the Solo Wargamer on Facebook and Instagram,
Yep.
he broke the rules. So I downloaded those off of Wargamer's Vault, I don't know, a week ago ish. And you know, and of course, since my work is generous, I printed out a hard copy there at work, and I'm looking forward to testing that out. But like I said, I'm trying to get some of these projects done around here, just so I've got space to do things.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, this will be a nice addition, you know, because I've got all sorts of stuff in the queue as far as games to play that I just kind of like you, I get overwhelmed with the crap that I'm doing, and then I don't want to do it, and then I have to do it so I have space to do things.
Yes.
So now I gave myself a little breathing room. I got a little bit of space, so I'm looking forward to trying that out. I still haven't played my new edition of Battle Space, so I need to get those little dudes on there and test them out.
Right. And Dennis, to your point, roughly the size of a coffee bean.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
I like micro scales. Just because you can put a lot of tanks on a table and it doesn't look like a parking lot, and your ranges can be a little bit more
You can have
realistic.
actual full range.
Yeah. So I mean, we've talked about it many times in the past, but yeah, I do like the micro scales. And they're easy to paint. You slap a little green, a little wash, a little high, dry brush, you're good to go. So, you get them going.
The hang up for me is the
bumper
terrain.
numbers on them.
Yeah.
The Army's an
And
easy
I
one.
do
You
have
gotta get the terrain.
I have STL files for 6mm terrain, modern stuff. So I can just shrink it down. It's going to look like a little blob of plastic, but hey, it'll be close enough for government work.
Mhm.
And then put it on the table and go from there. So, other than that, I can't think of anything. Oh, as a reminder, when we hit 2,000 subscribers, we're giving away a $50 gift card to either Miniatures Market, Wayland Games, if you're over in the other side of the Atlantic, or to
Phalanx.
Phalanx Consortiums. Thank you. It ran tip my tongue.
Oh, by the way, with Phalanx, they have a Black Friday thing going on right now. There is a code. You look on their Facebook, and I think you get, is it 15% off or $15 off of
something like that.
purchase?
Yeah. Just check out their Facebook page.
Yeah.
Phalanx Consortium. And now, Dennis, I'm going to have to pick up that rule set.
Yeah, well, apparently I'm going to have to use the code because while I was not on the last show, I did hear it, and I caught that where you guys specifically excluded me from being eligible. thought I wasn't gonna pick that up, did you?
You're talking about NOM 68, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but almost anything involving that old Iron Fist publishing crew is pretty good. The rules are a little opaque. Like I've always loved Battle Group. It's by that same it's by those same people.
Yeah.
But I've noticed it has a hard time catching on at the club. The club, a lot of those guys are used to more simplistic games, much more kinetic games. I move my tank, I roll dice, I shoot, I hit. There's a little bit more to combined arms combat than that. Battle Group catches that perfectly with a lot more realism. I'm sure this NOM 68 game does.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I mean, players tend to not really latch on, which is a shame, really. The game is not easy. You have to actually play the game. There's none of these rules like we see in earlier editions of Flames of War where you're not playing the game is playing you. All you have to do is look up a certain rule, outflank. You don't have to actually outflank the enemy. You just look up a rule and say, I'm doing this. There's none of that in Battle Group, and we saw that there's none of that in Centag or Northag.
Yeah.
And there's probably not going to be any of that in NOM 68 either, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I'll check out the rules and we'll go from there. Final thoughts? Anybody? Don?
Nope, I think I'm covered.
Gaz?
Did we lose somebody? Oh,
Yeah.
He had a potty break.
He's old.
Hit those sales up. If there is money off and you're going to buy it anyway, buy it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the thing, right? Is like try not to go buy stuff that you didn't really intend to get in the first place just because there's a discount.
Yep.
But if there's things you're looking for, man, take advantage of the deals.
Right. Chris, any final thoughts, sir?
No.
Any thought at all, Chris?
No.
Okay. Jim?
I'm good.
Okay. I think we'll have one more show before your journey over to Europe.
2 weeks from now is the 7th. Yeah, technically I'll still be around.
Yeah.
I might have one foot out the door, but I'll still be here.
Okay. Marty,
I'll
any
wear
final
my,
thoughts?
I'll wear my ugly sweater then.
Okay.
Sorry for my unexpected absence. My daughter,
Yeah, we all expected your absence.
no, it wasn't that. My daughter has her cat that lives here, and I thought my dogs were murdering it.
Okay.
That would be bad.
Turns out she was just taunting them from the stairwell, and they were locked downstairs.
How very cat-like.
Yeah. So we got that going for us. But I'm sorry, where are we at?
We're closing out the show, sir. Any final thoughts?
Hey, great to be here. Good to see everyone. Gaz, it's awesome to see you, brother.
Absolutely.
You could, I understand, we have the technology. You could join us on on occasion if you wanted from your home base as well.
This is true.
Just throwing it out there.
Hook up with Bill about it.
He doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to ask him to be the judge for our painting contest for Andy Zek Memorial. We're actually going to get with it.
Okay.
And I figured he could be the painting judge.
That's cool.
We'll do a historical category, sci-fi, fantasy, and if a diorama-ish.
Having sat next to Andy Zek at a number of boot camps and used to travel with him and
Yeah.
share rooms and stuff, that'd be an honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So details to come in our next show. I'm going to sit down and write out some stuff, and we'll go from there. So that is the plan. I know we mentioned it last year, and it just never came to fruition, but I think this year we're in a better location and we can do it. So more details come in the next episode. Also, 2,000 subscribers, you could win that $50 gift card from either.
Close.
How close are we?
Right on the brink, aren't
1985. As of I just checked 2 minutes ago.
Good year.
Good year.
Bowling for Soup song?
Yeah.
We are.
So, all
15
right,
away.
we're getting close.
Within 2 weeks, probably like 10 days, we'll actually hit it.
Yeah.
So we'll get you the pick a winner for a gift card, $50. It'll go to Miniatures Market, Wayland Games, because it's overseas, and we don't even know what's going on with Brexit and EU. You guys don't get along at all. And or
There's a
Phelan's
whole news
Consortium.
story I didn't do about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The miniatures company that's no longer selling to EU because of whatever's going on. I've been reading their Facebook posts. So it's a mess. The world is a mess right now, but we're not. We're just getting along in the miniature world.
So like, subscribe, and tell your nerd friends so we can hit 2,000 and give away some
Right.
stuff.
All right. With that, we're going to say adios. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao.
Vaya con Dios, mi amigos.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the SITREP Podcast. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our channels on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Discord. Remember to join us every other weekend for a new episode of the podcast, and don't forget our other programming on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thanks for listening.